2. Here we are. We are live. Okay, so good. What is this? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the podcast, Bantu TV, and the one speaking here whose voice is all crooked is Kalinda Shachinda. I'm right here in Indianapolis. Oh, thank God, here's Deep Thinker. Um, like we do every week. Let's welcome everybody, and we start with the honors of the show. We'll start with the oh the resident PS. Do your vavuzelas. The deep thinker finally is back. Do your vavuzelas. Lady Sarah, and my co-host, the incomparable one. Umfweni nomba. Bachulufia. Bachulufia. In that order, please.
Yeah, wafia bane wafia. Ifintu fya chilungu fya itupa. Twachijako kafoni kyose fyalumwe simanani kalifa pages kyose okulwa.
Yeah, so you didn't do the transfer correctly. Blame it on you.
Oh, it's me, eh?
Yeah, you didn't do the transfer correctly.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, guy, what's supposed to happen is everything you have from the old phone supposed to be transferred automatically. Now you can even do it wirelessly. Just place, depending on what phone you have, you place that phone next to each other. They do the transfer like that.
But some of the things they transferred, but some of the things they didn't transfer. So I'm like, what's going on here? Anyway, so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chanda Chulufia broadcasting live from Ontario, Canada. We welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching us from around the globe, whether it's evening, morning, night, afternoon. Thank you very much for taking your time. Of course, we're discussing our trending topics that have happened during the week. So many things have happened, even just this morning alone. There's so many things that have happened that that's so shocking. Zambia has become like a soap opera now. Anything is happening like almost any minute in Zambia. Some shocking stories. Yeah, so like I said, Chanda Chulufia, and I'll pass it on to our resident PS.
All right. Yes, thank you very much. My name is Chanda Kazia, a former PS and former Labor Commissioner, now in Canada, and I'm the dissenting view of the group. And please, it will be interesting. Like my colleague has said, is purely that a lot of things are happening every minute, every second of the minute in Zambia. It's a roller coaster. I think that's what we are seeing over what we are here when you are here. But the reality could be different. Having been in Zambia, there is always something that is probably miss. So it's important that we have a conversation and we have an honest conversation between ourselves as Zambians. So welcome to this program, and I hope to hear the fire burning. So let's go.
Deep thinker, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm joining in from St. Louis. This is Valentine, just fresh from Zambia. I would like to welcome all the listeners to the Bantu TV, where Ubuntu is practiced. We listen to each other. We have a deep conversation about what's going on in our country. Some of it is really gets serious, but at the end of the day, it's the sharing of information, and we welcome whoever is able to join us today, this Sunday. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back, Lady Sarah. Bye, Lady Sarah. Okay. I guess she is still making herself a cup of tea to get going on this show because there are a lot of dissenting viewpoints. So anyway, let's kick in and yeah, deep thinker. I'm going to start. Well, let's start with you, and I'm excited to hear your views on what's happening, as we Zambians would say, on the ground, politically, economically, socially. What did you see going on in the motherland as you just came in? A few days ago from Zambia. Give us your take, please. School us. What is it that we are missing? The floor
Uh,
is yours, deep thinker.
all right, I'll start with the Bakazia. Have they been treating you well, Bakazia, while I was gone?
I have been abused, Wadip Think.
Yes.
I was praying for you to come back. I have been
All right.
attacked. But
But
Akazi, I can't believe it.
but
you
but
coming is really good. It's a sign of
let,
elevation.
let me tell you, home is good. The environment is very, very good.
Mm,
The people listen to the politicians talking,
mhm,
but they're able to uh, analyze what is being talked, and even in the villages,
mm,
they're able to analyze what is going on in the sense that they are looking for. Okay, you can argue all you want. At the end of the day, what are we
mm,
going to see? Are we going to see development? Are we going to see fertilizer? Are we going to see seed? Let's pray for rain. That, I mean, people are really happy and seeing some things that are going on right. I was in Lusaka, I was in Monze, I was in Choma, I was in Mazaboka, I was in Kalomo, I was in Livingston. I traveled with some people from Lusaka to Livingstone. They were actually going to Botswana, and most of them are Zimbabweans on that bus. And this is what I was sitting next to two gentlemen from Zimbabwe going to Botswana. They said if we could trade places, Zimbabwe would be happy. The struggle is real, but at least the people are talking about good things coming in the future. These are Zimbabweans talking. I talk to people also. They are really hurting. People are really hurting. The economy is really hurting people. Mini meal is expensive. Almost everything is expensive. But most of the people I talk to, they are just waiting and anxiously waiting to see what's going to happen next. I mean, they live in a place called hope. They're hoping that whatever is going on is going to give them a better life in the future. They're not pessimistic. They're going to complain, but complain with the hope that things are going to be better. Now I want to get into some things. Some people are happy that some things are going on. The government is doing some things to in the agriculture sector, energy sector, but the issue I heard is that things are moving too slow. What is confusing them, the ones I talk to, is the timeline. I don't think is clear enough for them to settle their hearts to say by this time things will be well, but they can see the progress. Uh, and they're happy the solar system is going on, agriculture is going on. Those that have solar and submissives, they're doing very well. I was really jealous. I wanted to stay over there. Uh, in terms of entrepreneurship, and I'm not talking about the higher level people that have money. I'm talking about the people that are struggling day to day, because those are the people I'm interested in. The one thing I advised a lot of them that I talked to is that they need to stop selling the same item in the same area. You go to Kafir, turn around there, almost everybody is selling bananas. You go to Monza Market there or Livingston Market, everybody is selling the same item because people are buying, so everybody wants to sell that one. So I was advising them to say if somebody is selling tomatoes here, at least the next person sell onions, because the people buying, they'll need tomatoes and onions. So there's no need for them to buy tomatoes from one person out of the five that are selling here and to go somewhere else and go buy onion there. The entrepreneurship piece, it needs to be taught through civic education. I don't know what that looks like in Zambia, but I would love that to happen. Like I said, the politics, they really don't care much as long as they know what is going on and as long as deadlines are communicated. Education, the people are happy that there's free education, but I realize that people are happy that there's free education because they're not getting money out of their pockets to buy things. But that's another area where we need civic education, somebody to teach the parents that free education is not going to mean anything if the students are not bringing anything home in their heads, having to show that they went to school to learn. So while the government is pushing for free education, while the government is pushing change of curriculum, all that on the home end, I think if there was reinforcement to make sure that these kids are bringing something home as evidence that they went to school to learn, that will be very, very helpful. The curriculum, I did not see the curriculum, but I'm happy that there's transitioning from basic education to the old system. And nobody complained, to me, nobody complained that there's a group of students that is going to open schools in February 10th. I didn't hear any complaints about that because, especially in the farms, the kids are helping out. But the curriculum, I have not seen, but I would love to hear a conversation about entrepreneurship. Each student, before they graduate high school or even Form 3, they should have a portfolio of a plan of what they want to do when they finish school. At least an idea of how they're going to contribute to Mother Zambia, the economy of Mother Zambia, even if it's at a basic level that can be developed further. And that way, the money that the government is pushing, whether through CDF or whatever, can support those kids if they fall out of school or when they finish, uh, help them with those ideas, especially if they don't go to college. So I would love to see that and do away with. I would like to see. These are the conversations I had with people. I would like to see schools do away with most of this Western history that they're teaching us, uh, to concentrate on the one Zambia, one nation, one people uh, philosophy.
Mm.
And also purposely and deliberately teach the students why corruption is a menace in the country. Because corruption is real.
Yes.
Corruption is real, and I'm going to talk about it when I talk about agriculture. Corruption is real.
Mm.
Now, in the rural areas, I spent a lot of time uh, going to where the people are working. They call it cash for work. I spent a
Mhm.
lot of time socializing with those people. As they were working, I was working alongside them, but I wasn't getting paid. It
Mhm.
has helped a lot of people that don't have jobs. It has really helped a lot of people. Yeah, the ministry is really doing a great job rounding those people, the people up to give them work. So what they do is they let them work on the farms or wherever they're working, building or something. And then at 13 hours, I think 12, 13 hours or 11, I forgot what time that was. I always joined them at 13 hours. After they've knocked off from their fields, then that's when they go to work for cash. And those people are taking it seriously.
mm,
My only caution to the ministry is that look, make sure that that is monitored very, very aggressively, because take for instance, some dams burst open, and the way they were patching up those dams, yeah, I mean, when the next rain comes, it's again swept away. We need a plan of when the dam is overflowing and it bursts. Then we need something close to a permanent solution so that we don't come back and work on the same thing that I got paid for.
mm, mm,
So that's losing money, because one of them actually said, "I hope this rain comes because I know the dam is going to burst and we'll go back there." I said, "But you got paid already for fixing that." He said, "Well, if it bursts, I gotta go back."
mm,
So
Mhm.
it can save a lot of money if those villagers are given strict instructions, so that when whatever they fix, at least it lasts even a year or two if possible, but not the following week you're going back to the same thing. So that's just the ministry to check and make sure that you give some education to the supervisors who are supervising these cash for work people. I
mm.
saw some exploitation of the elderly that get paid, especially this is in the rural areas. I don't know about town, I didn't see that. So those elderlies that get money, I think it's called social cash or something.
Mhm.
Uh,
Social cash transfer.
Natural
the
cash
social
transfer,
cash
yeah.
transfer
Mhm. Mhm.
that also needed to be monitored, because there's some people that are exploiting these elderly people.
Mm.
They
Impia
that
Shabalanda.
Yeah, there is some exploitation I saw that I didn't like. So there needs to be accountability on that level, because the elderly are happy. The elderly people are really happy. One of them said, "This government, I need them to rule until I die."
Mm, mm,
That's what
mm,
one elderly person said.
mm, mm,
They
mm,
have increased our money and we are okay. At least I can
mm.
buy mini meal.
So,
Although they,
but deep thinker, what's the exploitation there, if you don't mind me asking? What's the
so so
exploitation?
so in the rural areas, there is the young able-bodied men, not women.
Mm,
Very, very few women. Very, very few women. Uh, they have taken to drinking cachasu.
mm,
They don't work. So even cash for work, they are not functional alcoholics,
mm,
but they have to get some money somewhere. So they treat the elderly like, say you are the only child and your mom is getting money, then you are the one who goes to get the money and keep the money for mom, and he ends up
mm.
drinking using that money whatever way you want.
So,
Mm.
A couple of people that I talked to, actually I had some meetings at the drinking place, because they start at 8 in the morning.
mm,
So sometimes I'll go early in the morning, talk to them and let them know there's no reason when you live in the village, you live on a farm. There's
mm,
no reason why you cannot have even chickens on the farm, on the land.
mm, mm,
And yet your mother gets paid uh, almost every month. Sometimes they skip a month. So instead
mm,
of drinking, you pay 8 kwacha per drink, 18 kwacha per drink, 18 to 21 kwacha per drink. and it takes probably 4 or 5 drinks for you to get drunk. How many chickens can you be buying? And that is every day. You know, now this brings me to also the issue of the government needs to regulate that drinking. There's need for a policy for that drinking. It's not going to be a popular policy, but bars should not open probably until noon or 1 or 2 or 3 to give those people a chance to look for some work, to work for cash, and then after 3 they can go and drink. So that's another thing I discussed with the people at home. I did not discuss anything with the policymakers. I discussed it with some councillors because some councillors are also very, very corrupt. Okay, did I talk about education?
Yes.
All right, agriculture. There is also some corruption, not at the higher level, at the level between that last person who's charged to distribute fertilizer and seed and the receiver. That's where the corruption is going on. Now, higher level, they might be involved, but I do know that at that level, we discussed at length with the villagers, at that level, there's a lot of theft. I know one guy who actually is afraid of his brother. His brother is in charge of that piece, and he was supposed to receive, I think, it's 6 bags of fertilizer, but he only received 2. And the brother was telling me, I think he sold the other 4. Now, I do know that there's some accountability because I know 2 people that are going to court, I think in February, over that. So that also need to be monitored. Corruption is real. At a higher level, I don't know. I can't speak of that. But what others are saying is these low level, this low level management of fertilizer is engineered by a higher level, but I don't have evidence on that. So there might be more people involved in it. So, and in this year of we just coming out of drought, for people to do that to other people, somebody needs to go to jail. Those need to be aggressive. There's need for aggressive investigation to bring to book those people that are that are doing that in the year when we have rains now. There's a possibility of us not going hungry and somebody stealing from somebody. That need to be investigated seriously. Right.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, socially, the people are really mixing very well. I didn't hear any tribal thing because I travel on public transport on purpose. Even in Lusaka, everywhere I go, I get on minibuses and engage people in conversations. That tribal talk is at a higher level. The people just mix and mix it freely, the ones that I saw. I never heard a trace or anything about tribalism. It's all one Zambia, one nation, one people. And these are in the minibuses, and I didn't even do Yango. Except for long distance, I did big buses, and even on there, uh, everything okay. Yeah, I didn't see any. Socially, the people are doing really, really fine. The one issue that I have, and I talked to a lot of people about it, is I was talking to people that do not exploit the people in diaspora because they're pumping in money in the country that can uh, develop the country, meant to develop the country. Whether they're doing it for themselves or not, at least these in diaspora, they bring in dollars that can be, that are in circulation in the country because development comes from uh, free and constant circulation of money in different hands. So whoever is listening from the government, I'm asking for the Department of Diaspora Assessment Diaspora Asset Protection Agency, DAPA. I'm asking for an agency that protects people in diaspora. I'm sure all of you that are in America and Canada on this forum, you have a lot of money that you keep here that is improving the American economy, maybe through the banks or somewhere. You're not sending it home because if you're not there, it's free for all. So they need to protect us so that we can send money that can be in circulation, and the banks can get that money and give out loans to those that are serious about businesses, agriculture, anything. So whoever is in, I don't know who to contact, but I really want that agency. If somebody in the forum can pick that up and forward it, take it on. Unless there's some questions, I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay. Well, we had the lady here. What's her name? She just dropped off. Musmara. Well, hopefully she'll come back. Anyway, yeah, let's open up the questioning. Who wants to go first? Vakazia. Deep thinker is here. Fire away.
You can the questions. I'll answer the best I can from the knowledge to it.
Deep thinker, thank you very much for your submission, and thank you very much for your analysis of what you experienced when you were in Zambia,
Yes, sir.
and how I wish you had detached all the parts of the country. It would
Correct.
have been really good for you to have a feel about what others are saying. Now, I have a question on the free education. The free education, I think it is not in all sense. There is some partial free education. Right now, I have a son. My elder brother doesn't work. The wife just passed away about 6 months ago. She was not working. This a son of ours is at NRDC, and I'm paying 10,000 kwacha. From here, I'm sending money to go and pay for school. And I was thinking that probably that was not the case. So I went on the website for the college, and I picked all these fees that are there. And they simply tell you to say, oh, if you want money, you can go and ask for CDF to pay you and stuff like that. So if there's nothing that is coming from CDF, it means you have to pay. So right now, I am paying for two. One, my young sister's son, the husband died also last year. She's not been paid. They were both, he was a teacher, so he hasn't been paid anything yet. So I am also paying for that person to go to a nursing school. So, and when I tried to engage with them to say, hey, there's CDF and this is free education, they said, no, you are mistaken about the concept of free education. It doesn't exist in the way that it is said. Right now, if I don't pay, it means those two will not go in college. So free education is there partially, but not in all sense. So right now, I'll be paying for that.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about higher education or lower level?
No, higher education, because
Okay.
the free education was mentioned that there's no payment fees
Correct.
from primary to higher education.
Correct.
No, Vakazia,
I got,
that's
I,
not right.
I got you. I got you.
Okay,
I got you.
so it means that the free education is just from grade 1 to 12 and the government institutions, isn't it?
No, not really.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I'll give you an example because I also have a niece. Mom died, and dad is not in pictures.
Okay.
So that young lady start that young lady started school last year, and I was paying, only to find out that there's some paperwork that she didn't fill out. That's why she didn't get support from the government. So we filled out all that paperwork, and then we'll see now when they go back and see if they will get the money.
And in fact, that is exactly what I also was hoping for. And I asked for all the questions. There had been all that paperwork had been filled, but there is no money.
Now,
They have to pay. Now,
now
you
for
see,
me,
deep thinker, the reason why I'm asking these questions, when we throw the issue of free education, we must be able to be clear that there is some free education. In other instances, you have to pay. That is just a plain fact. Yes,
correct,
there is some free education. There's some form of free education. But
correct.
the way it has been preached, like nobody should pay, because this is a very good thing. But then you come and say free education, yet I'm paying 15,000.
There, there are
Okay.
some
So,
challenges, Bakazia.
so can I also just jump in a little bit here? Um, I think if I can here, what we need to understand when the government said free education, they meant government institutions. Okay?
Correct.
Eh. So it's government institutions. Kwalibama higher level institutions that are privately owned. Okay?
Correct.
So that's a private situation there. If you take your niece to a private college, obviously you have to pay 100% there because it's not a government institution, right? So now that we have all these government institutions, if you take them, Unza, for instance, Copperbelt University, it's even spreading NIPA, even in Horn College. It's guaranteed you're going to have that free education. But if you take them to Cavendish, if you take Mabatwa Cavendish University,
But
NRDC
NRDC is not a private college. It's not.
So
Epondera and the NRDC. It's not. I know that when I take them to a private institution, why should government pay for that private institution which I've deliberately chosen to take my child? No. I'm talking about a government college.
But because have these kids applied?
Yeah.
Because there's an issue also where people are not applying. Especially those that know their relatives outside Zambia. They would
No.
rather they are telling you they are applying, but they are not because they
No.
know that you're gonna pay for them.
That is why I would not come and say, oh, they didn't apply, but then they want to be given. How can they be given money which they've not applied for? This process is clear, it's written, and everything else. But it is this process of saying we apply. There's no money to give. That's what the answer is.
Are they proving to you that they are applying? Because
Yes.
our people, Zambia, they are crafty. I
One,
can tell you, I can speak for myself where people
yes,
say,
but I want,
I've applied and then they don't, and then they want you to be sending money. That's just how because they are lazy.
yes, those that you've had been experiencing. Mine, no, it's not like that, Bakari. There is no money to give them right now. They applied. They've been told to wait.
So
But
let me ask you, Bakazia.
Yeah?
Did the child get a letter to say there's no money? Or is it speculation that probably there's no money?
Look at
Because
this.
I went through the process. Mine was I was paying. Now I'm not sending anything.
But deep thinker, nobody in government offices, nobody from my years of experience, there's no one who can give you a letter from government, say government has no money. There's no one who can give you that letter.
But what are they telling your child?
Say, you wait. And when you wait, you will not be going into class while the that process is going on because government has not financed them. So they cannot give you them, they will not allow you to go for class. It's different if they say don't pay, come in class and start working until this process is done.
Because I do know for my niece, I was paying. Now
Which
I'm
college
not paying.
is that?
I'm not going to pay anything moving forward. It was an error on the child, on the side of the child.
Okay.
It was an error on the side of my niece. So
Yeah.
I didn't blame the government, because once I found out, I realized that my niece did not take it seriously to fill out all the paperwork correctly. As a result, she missed some deadlines, and then I had to pay. I had to pay because I wanted her in so that we can fight from within. So find out what
I think it is because I was actually discussing with the father, who is my elder brother, about all these possibilities and all these government programs. He said we have tried them. You see, the problem is that if we're going to say, oh, we start anticipating that this is when you go on the website, when you go to the college's website, because that's where we're going to get information about the fees and the processes.
correct.
You will not find that. You will not find even any mention about that. It is just
About what?
one sentence only. Go to
About what?
TGF. That's all. It's not
About
like, oh,
what?
there is government financing around bursaries. No, it's not like that. So when I'm talking about it, it's an experience that I'm saying I have to, because now the colleges are open. I think maybe this week, I think they opened last week. So the boy is not in school. I have to get the money and pay.
Yeah. Well, that's Bakazia, maybe that's just an isolated case, but
It can't be, yeah, but you see, it can't be an isolated case. It shouldn't be an isolated case where there's policy. You
yeah,
understand
but
that?
for the most part, Zambians, just like what Deep Thinker said, Zambians are happy with free education.
I am not saying the Zambians are sad. No, I'm raising a concern here.
But
Yes,
Kazia,
and we've heard it, and I'm saying, look, it might be just an isolated case that needs further investigation to
Okay.
understand.
Kazia,
Why?
follow up with the paperwork. I mean, I don't know if you heard me talk about civic education. Civic education. The, some people don't know. Information is not reaching them, so they wouldn't know. And that was in the case of my niece. It was on her end that everything fell apart. That's why I had to pay. Everything was straightened up, and I can't even blame the Minister of Education. It was my niece and the guardianship. The father is not in the picture. So things were not done right. That's why she didn't get the money. Now everything is in motion. So just find out what's going on with your nephew. If I didn't go to Zambia, I wouldn't have known. I would have just thought that free education is not as free because I'm paying. But I went and saw it myself and went through the whole process. And now I get to keep my money.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Shall
Let
we
me
bring
let me
in
let me know
my,
if you have some questions about the process, because I went through the process.
Yeah, but the the process, I think, was explained by even the Minister of Education. The process was explained by other, government officials. They have explained the processes, and it's not like these processes have been hidden from the people. It is a hurdles of when they follow the processes and they get the dead end, and that is why I'm saying, in some instances, yes, there has been some level of free education, but it's not absolute. Because
So
in certain cases, you have to pay, even for the government institutions.
so so I think what you're alluding to, Lakazia, is that every system will have some things that need to be revisited and uh you know rewritten and explained to people. Every system is going to have some kinks that need to be fine-tuned. So you have a
yeah.
valid point.
Right. And also, and understanding that now, I mean, it's not just bursaries. Kids can get loans, school loans. The government's giving out school loans for them to go to school. That's another avenue. Another avenue is kids can go through CDF. CDF will finance, their education that way. I mean, for most of us, I mean, I have a nephew who's studying medicine at UNZA, and he got his after I filled up the paperwork correctly. I mean, the first time it was denied, but like Deep think I saying, once we figured out what the issue was and the paperwork was filled in correctly. I mean, he's been on bursaries. He's going in third year now, and we haven't paid a single cent. So I think let's follow the paperwork and see where the problem is. I mean, yes, there are issues, but I think it's not as bad as it used to be if you do the correct things.
One comment about Madam Moderator. That
Mm-hmm.
Vakazi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I did think I'm here.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard me talk about the fertilizer issue. The government is doing everything possible to make sure that everybody gets the fertilizer according to the documentation that is submitted. But at that lowest level, the exchange between that last person who represents the government and the receiver, there is some corruption there. So maybe it needs to be investigated because somebody might not be doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that person who wants to make a buck and put it in the pocket. Probably that is the issue. I don't know.
On the issue of fertilizer, I did think the problem with fertilizer is that the government quickly moved to fix what is not broken. That is where we had the problem. I think now they are going back to the same systems that have been there and refining them. I think it's important. They should just refine them and make sure that they continue with efficiency and just clean up the loopholes that were there. They were too quick to fix what was not broken, and that is why you find that the same people were still there. And the moment that people take advantage of the loopholes when they see that the people that have come are not aware about all these deep systems about government. So they will take advantage and do the wrong things and stuff like that. So
that will happen with any government. That is going to happen when you change governments until the. I mean, corruption is there, but like our moderator said, it's not like it's all rampant and openly done. So it just needs a lot of investigations and put a lot of people on the ground to investigate the corruption. And then if that last person is corrupt, you start following backwards all the way to the minister and see where the corruption is starting. I don't know if the government has enough resources for that, but that is going to be there in any ministry. So there is going to be some level of corruption. Whether it be, I know about Kazia, his child is going to be the first one in line to get a bursary. Things like that happen about Kazia.
No, I'm not actually disputing things like that. Those things happen because when I say that you fix what is not broken, it's where you go on a system overhaul. A systems overhaul in the midst of a drought, a system overhaul in the midst of fertilizer procurement process. It will definitely affect the way you organize the thing. Because you remember at the time that the systems, when they suspect, they had found running contracts, government had found running contracts with the suppliers. And what did the government do? They went and terminated those. And then there was no fertilizer supply. And that is.
Could you hear me right? Could you hear me right? That is going to happen with any government, even here. any government that is going to happen, because you are looking at what the system was when you were there. They're looking at the corruption that they saw. Well, I don't know if they saw any corruption, what they saw and it needed to be fixed.
Okay.
And the government of the day has the right to change what they don't think it works right.
And
And in that process of changing, some things are going to be lost. That happens in life.
yes, and that is why I'm saying we should have a start point, even for government going forward, where you start to build for what you found. Systems that have been resilient even here, and they don't go to collapse everything. They find things and build on them.
But
you don't press the default button. Because if you press the default button, for you to come back to the same level that you found things at and then start making progress, it takes years. So my point, deep thinker, is we need to start to build on what we find as going forward, rather than pressing the reset button. Because when you press the reset button, you go back to zero. You're not starting at 50. You're starting at zero and building to 50 and then 100.
But that is all governments in the world. Look at Trump came in and deported the people 2-3 days after he got in government. That is everywhere in the world.
But
okay.
Gentlemen. I think I would give an example of Botswana. Botswana doesn't press default buttons. So it's not everywhere in the world. It's in our country, probably.
Oh, they do. They do. That's why Ian Kama is now talking.
No, but you see, they did not default. If you look at their handling of Diamond, they had shareholding. What they do, they increased. They didn't go back to zero. No, they went and said, this is what is there. So this has not been working. How do we move forward? They raised. They didn't go back down. So when you say,
so let me just come in here real briefly. So let me come in here real briefly before actually comes in. So I'm scaling back to the agriculture, discoveries according to Deep Thinker. So here is what's going on. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Deep Thinker. What you are saying is there is no issue at the top level in as far as the distribution of fertilizer is. The issue comes in at the lowest level in this I'll take a watt, for instance, because that's really the lowest level you can go to. So the issue is with the guy who is now entrusted with the responsibility to distribute the fertilizer from the storage to the actual farmers. So case in point, you have somebody who is supposed to distribute 6 bags of fertilizers, okay, to this farmer. But what is ending up happening is that guy is only giving this farmer 4 bags, and then he keeps 2 for himself.
Correct.
And that's where the issue is.
And he's doing that
not,
to the family.
The issue is not about government actually buying this fertilizer and getting it to the farmer, but it's at the distribution level, at the local level. So this is what I understood.
The whole system is well structured the way I saw it. But then at that level where you have to give your NRC numbers and they calculate how many you are going, each household is going, how many fertilizers or seed each household is going to get. So at the councillor level, I am in charge of that distribution.
It has come to our
okay. So Vakazia is my relative, and he's my relative. So he's supposed to get 6 bags, right? I trick Vakazia and give him 4, and the other 2 I go sell, because Vakazia cannot read or write, and he's driven by the village politics. Now, I'm not saying there is no corruption at a higher level from councillor level. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the corruption could start at a higher level, but that's where the actual exchange that qualifies to be corruption is starting. So I'm saying investigate that and keep going through. If you listen to me, I said keep investigating until you catch where the corruption starts. If it goes all the way to the minister, so be it. You're going to the minister.
But I did think, I think we must start from up rather than start from below.
No.
If you start from below, that is my opinion. My opinion about that, and I'll give you the reasons why. I would rather we start from the top, because the corruption, when the people see the corruption on top, there is nothing that will happen to these that are on the below, because they'll be this corruption will be stopped when it is getting now higher. If we deal with higher people, higher corruption at procurement, at distribution, and it goes all the way, you would find that when it gets down, the system will be so easy and such that the corruption will not happen. Trust me, deep thinker. If you use the other way approach, it will not work. It is my opinion about that. And I strongly feel that we must start from the top to deal with this corruption. From the ministers, permanent secretaries, directors, all the way, district, provincial, agricultural coordinating officers, going to the district, up to the council level. We must start with the top. Then we go down. Then we will see that we succeed.
Madam Moderator, then I'll stop. Let me just address this. I'm a teacher. And we do know that when you go to a class, you start from the known to the unknown. The reason I'm saying you start from the lowest level there, because once you start from the lowest level, you have evidence that takes you to the next level. You have evidence that takes you to the next level. You're climbing the ladder of corruption until where it started from. If you go straight to the minister, then you realize that you're investigating the minister for nothing, and then you start getting sued. You lose money because investigating a minister without evidence, then you are wasting government resources. You collect the evidence from below, keep going up and collecting until you get to the minister and say, Minister, we have all this evidence. The buck ends at here.
Deep thinker.
This conversation should not just be between you.
Okay,
now, I know you missed him a lot.
2 seconds and then I'm done. 2 seconds.
No. But I know you missed him a lot.
No. I missed 2 seconds when you were and I'm done.
No, but if you say, even him will come and say.
No, I will not respond. I will not respond if he comes in. This is my last contribution. My contribution to the deep thinker is this. The starting point to investigate corruption in the agricultural sector starts with procurement. It doesn't start with the distribution. So that is my last submission.
Can I make a last submission too?
Can you just bring in Danny now to bring in a different
make your last submission, and then we'll go to our wonderful doctor in Puerto Rico. Go ahead.
What Vakazia is talking about from the policy standpoint, that is the planning part where he wants to investigate. If the planning part has gone through clearly and endorsed by the powers that may be, then let the planning process go through and start with who stole the chicken.
Footnote, okay. My handsome, lovely doctor from Puerto Rico. Welcome back.
Thank you very much, everybody. I've been hearing in the background and just been taking some notes here regarding what we're talking about. First of all, the continuation of government policies. Every government comes with its own way of doing things. If the liberals are in power and another liberal president comes in or prime minister comes, they'll continue with their policies. When the conservatives comes in, they will definitely have their own way of doing things. So to say we have to be building on what, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. Right now, Trudeau has messed up Canada And the conservatives are saying, when we come, we're going to remove this, we're going to remove that. They're not going to say, oh, we're going to build on this. Even the good things Trudeau has done. Anyway, so governments come on with their own plan. It's very rare that you're going to find, especially continuing with policies that you know that they were fraudulent. For example, the fertilizer acquisition in PF was very, very fraudulent. That's the reason why they gave it to their family. Everybody knows that. It's public knowledge. They gave them to their own people to supply fertilizer. So those things cannot be continued with anyway. So that's the one thing about policy continuations. The other one is about corruption. I really agree with both Chanda, PS Chanda, and the deep thinker, in the sense that corruption takes place at different levels, and the one at the bottom is very evident, because somebody would say, "Oh, vanapasa masaka 4 in wananipasa tatu." It's very easy to really follow up such cases, and then you can go up. Why are you doing this from the ground? Why didn't you give that old lady 6 bags? And this, oh no, my boss told me to do this, because most of this corruption is actually, there's some they connive. The boss will tell someone below, oh, just give them 2 bags. So that person from the bottom, when you tell them, they would tell, oh, my provincial something told me this. From provincial, they say, oh, my permanent secretary told me. The other ones, oh, my minister told me. So it's really like a little ladder type of thing, corruption in our country. And also, what I want what I've also observed in my mother Zambia is Zambians have accepted corruption, and that's very sad. Every time I want to do something for my relatives in Zambia, they'll tell me, oh, send something for a brown envelope for us to go and give them. They tell me that all the time. And I tell them, you guys, you don't need to go and bribe someone for this. No, kunoniku Zambia, munachoka kudala, blah, 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 blah. Zambians have taken it that for them to get a service from the government, from an institution, they need to bribe somebody. And that's very unfortunate. I think we need to change that mindset. I've seen it in my relatives. Every time I tell them to go and do something to the council, go and see what, no, manje tizaperekera chani. What in Zambia, you have to have a brown envelope for everything. So I think we need to tell our people that some of these services are there for them, and they don't need to bribe somebody to get them. But I think increasingly, most people in Zambia now think that before they get a service out of a government office, they need to bribe somebody. I think we should stop that thinking. It's not right. Okay. So, but in terms of free education, that has come up. To be honest, I think our young people in Zambia, under this new initiative by the current government, have so many opportunities open for them. I work closely with the Munsanje in Babala myself, and I see what he has done there. He publishes the deadlines for application for the colleges. The names come out publicly. The list comes out. These are the kids. This one is going to this college. This one is going to this college. It's very transparent. And kids in the villages now are being trained in various skills. It's very evident. I know some constituencies are doing better than others, and I know Musanje's one is doing great. He's my friend, but I know he's doing great in that aspect.
You hear Deep Thinker Lugwalo is well represented.
Yes,
just saying.
He is doing great, and I think since he became an MP or whatever, I think now the numbers are in hundreds. The kids that have been trained in various skills in various colleges around the country, in hundreds, which is a very, very good thing. So our young people now under this new administration, definitely they have been given an opportunity to better themselves. It's very evident. If somebody doesn't want to accept that young people in Zambia now have been given a lifeline to do something, it's being unfortunate. But the truth is, the new government program with new free education and free skills training for the young people is really, really doing miracles. My cousin is refusing to go to college. He thinks he's too old. My cousin in the village has been given to go to one of these colleges in Lusaka. I don't know whether he's afraid of Lusaka, No, no, I can't go, cousin. I said, no, there's no such a thing as being owed. Get the scholarship and go. But the scholarship has been given to him. So the opportunities are there, and we should just thank the government for this. Thank you.
I agree with that.
Fantastic.
Glad Chilufya, come in. You've been too quiet for too long.
Yeah, I mean, free education actually is one of our flagships when it comes to the promises that the UPND government gave the people of Zambia. Before we came into power, it was proclaimed to say there's going to be free education. And just to rewind it a little bit, most of the big politicians in the country of Zambia went through free education. That's why they are where they are today, because of free education during the Kaunda government. Okay, so all what the European government all they did is they took a leaf and say this is something that all these governments have not tapped on or really continued on, because an educated nation, is a nation that's going to lead a new age, information development. We're going to see some smart young guys come up and mushroom. Okay, so imagine if there was no free education during the Kaunda era. We would never have any HH. We could have never had any Rungu. All these top-notch, people out there, they went through free education, and they're where they are because of that. So this free education, it should be grabbed and embraced and actually supported. Okay, not everybody is going to get that free education. I mean, it's impossible to 100%, apply to each and every individual. But for the most part, I think for the most part, let's all agree as Zambians, Zambians, they're actually, benefiting from that free education, either been through trades, like you said, through CDF. There's a component where you can go and get free trade skills training. Okay, if you apply. So you have to go and you have to be aggressive. Young people in Zambia, be aggressive. Go there and go and apply these things. Don't just but you haven't even applied. Okay, go and apply, and make sure when you apply, put all the right documents, apply properly, and you'll be given that grant or loan or whatever. Okay, so free education, top notch. That's all we need, and that's what every Zambian is have been looking for right now. Now we can imagine in the next coming generation, we'll have educated young people, well-educated young people. So as we're talking, I mean, just recently, in fact, is it yesterday or the other day, 4,000 health workers have been employed again. So, meaning the government's promises are real. They're saying, look, we want to make sure, when it comes to health, we have trained people. And once we employ them, especially in our areas, those areas where, in far away, far places, they don't have specialized medical, people who are trained properly. Okay, so all these people that they're employing, they should actually go into all those. Just go there and go and work. Not everybody should be concentrated here in Lusaka or the Copper Belt. So all these things are these are the most important developmental issues that we need to discuss. And then of course Moderator, you want to come in?
Right. No, I'm just agreeing with you. That's all. I'm agreeing. I think. Um. Oh my goodness, this was supposed to just take 15 minutes. Now, Moneshta, it's
I'm sorry.
2:26. Every time you bring a deep thinker, everything you just your timetable schedule is out of the window. We can't, we hardly have time to talk about the other trending topics. But I think we should move on now to the remaining topics that we have. And we it was a big loaded um, you know um, show with a lot of topics. But maybe before we move there, shall we? Let me just highlight this comment from Patson Kalale. He says, "You are doing a better job." So I guess he's saying the new Dawn government is doing a better job. So shall we move to the next topic? And
I
that
agree with
topic
him.
is we now switch gears to mining. We had this past week the Minister of Mines, Mr. Pokabus, were announcing that um, the production of copper actually went up this past year to 12%, from 720,000 tons in 2023 to 830,000 tons in 2024. And of course, Bakazia does not want to hear that because he has his own um, um, point of view there. But the minister says all those who are rumor mongering on the KCM and Mopani not doing their part in this production are just choosing to bury their heads in the sand. So, Wakazi, I'm gonna start with you there because this is your passionate thought on this. You're thinking the new Dawn government is not doing enough with the hand that they were dealt with. Your take on this pronouncement from the minister about copper production going up, and that Mupani and KCM have contributed to that.
First, I need to correct you because you have said something that is not right, totally out of context. I never said that I don't want to hear good things about copper production. What I want to hear is that they've produced so much and so much taxes have been raised for copper. And these taxes are improving our lives as Zambians. That's what I want to hear.
Isn't that you diluting the good news about the ramping up of copper production
No, because
based on what the new government has done?
No, you threw what I did. So I'm responding to that first question that you said. That no, that's not what I want to hear. What I want to hear is what I've told you now.
There's never we can never win against Vakazi. Anyway,
I
let's move on.
want to hear what others say.
Let's
Thinking
move on. Put it back to Lucia.
Vakazia is there on the mining sector. Is against Vavendanta. That's the only company that he doesn't like.
And also, what I should also say, one other thing that I did not agree and have not agreed is where there was misinformation that the mines were closed during the last 15 years. There was no mine that was closed. The mine which was closed years back was the shaft MMD. That is when it was closed. There was no mine that was closed. More mines came to actually sink in new shafts. Like, for instance, the underground mine at NFC at Chambish there. It's a brand new mine. It was sunk in the last maybe 7-8 years. Started producing. So there was no mine that was closed. Because there was so much talk that mines were closing, now they're open.
Vakazia.
Are you serious?
I'm serious about it.
Nga muverenga news yakwisa.
Do we live in an alternative reality here?
I can
All
ask you one question.
Vakazia moneni.
No,
All the major mines were closed during the PF regime.
Vachanda.
Took
Tell
the
me one mine
government.
which was closed. One mine which was closed. This mine was closed.
I think it Naleka. But here's the
Don't go forward.
no. But here's the most important thing. Each and every each and every Zambian knows right now that the copper belt is thriving today because of the UPND government. Even the president, when
I ask you a simple question.
No, answer
the question.
Even the president himself, when he was meeting all these investors, he told them, like, look, we cannot continue fighting in court, right? Let's sit on the round table and discuss our disagreements and our differences. Let's iron out issues on the table. Let's not go into into court, spend millions and millions of dollars. Every year, court. How is the country going to how is the country going to develop in that manner? Because that's what was happening, really. Okay, so that aside, everything has now been resolved. The mines are fully operational right now as we speak. That's why we're seeing all these abnormal loads each and every day in the copper belt. Ask copper belt. Ask any
Vachanda, I don't interrupt you. Kalinda, I want this to be answered. This is the problem when we are going to have conversations amongst ourselves. When there is a question, we don't answer the question. We deviate and start answering what is not questioned. If you go anywhere, even on the mines, you will see that the mines which were closed were Broken Hill Mine 206 to 1994. Chivuruma Mine closed in 2005. One best mine was never. So there is no mine that was closed. There is no mine which was closed. To close a mine is different from what you people. There was no mine that was closed. Tell me one mine which was closed. At the time that UPND was taking power office. Tell me
Vakazia. KCM was under receivership. Barrick Mine had just announced that they were leaving the country.
No,
but I'm sure they were going to leave.
I'm going to
What are you talking about?
Because I was there. That is why I'm telling you.
Just for the sake of.
I think it's better when we are discussing, we become civil. So at a friend puts a point, then you listen and then you rebuttal to it.
Go ahead.
Yes, but you can't just be rebuttaling this. When I tell you I was there, I was in those mines myself, not anyone else. Me. I went to visit KCM, I visited Mopani, I visited Lumwana, I visited Kalumbila, I visited Chibuluma, I visited all these mines, I visited them. Now, there are two things that was happening. At KCM, the mine did not close. It went under receivership. The liquidator was operating that mine and selling and doing those businesses that were happening. The mine was operational. It was not closed. Mopani was not closed. It was functional. Charles Sakana MD was there. Lumwana was not closed. It had intentions of closing, but it did not close. Why? Because of the tax system that was coming in there. They were trying to sell the mine to the Chinese. These things are there. What was happening that the mine went into the mode of wanting to reduce the investment because government was now demanding a higher stake in terms of the revenue, getting a little bit more taxes from the mines. They did not like that. The mines don't like taxes. If there's a way that they can reduce and produce and get us, give us a raw deal, they will do it. They will run their figures very well. They will know where to touch the government. And once they touch there, we're done until we bend into certain areas. When they see we are not bending as a country, they come back to the negotiating table because they can't leave. Mopani had put a $2 billion smelter there. There was no way they would leave and say to Waya, if it was a $2 billion, a new shaft which was there. They would not do that. But you guys know the challenges of Glencoe elsewhere, which was making them start selling their assets. Panama, in US and everywhere else. You know about those things. So for me, what I'm debunking is that the man was good, there's no man which was closed. And this is something that the government, current government, must learn from it. And not to start demonizing when people are saying, wait, guys, these mining companies that are surrounding us.
In conclusion, like I said, let's allow other people to talk.
In conclusion, we need to do better in terms of the taxes that we can get from the mines.
Deep thinker, you are just coming from Zambia. What did you hear about the mines?
So I think I got lost a little bit because the issue was about increased production, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for me, I'm going to stick to that right there. I think Ibakazia had a point. He just diversified going to closures and all that. The point is that increasing production is a good thing. And it can be a bad thing if it's not followed by the data to show the trickle down of resources. You know, when you can increase the number of students that are passing grade 7, but they haven't learned anything. You can, but if you say we have increased the number of students passing and they have acquired entrepreneurial skills as they go to the next level, then that justifies the increase in number of students that you've moved. When you increase the production, it should not just stop at we have increased the production. Because you get more money not because you've negotiated something. You're getting more money because you're getting more resources from underground. So increase in production should be followed by the data to say this is what has been generated and this is what we're working on, so that every ton of copper gives us 10 kwacha more. I think that was Bakazia's point. Correct me if I'm mistaken.
You are so right, but deep thinker, because I was misdirected by Bachand and by Kalinda. So, but
What
what you
did we do now?
is exactly what I intended to say. Thank you very much, deep thinker.
So when the
But
minister...
I sound very happy today.
So
He is in another world.
The deep thinker is in the house.
Vakazia mwenendi vakalamba. Ilia kuma mine, especially Mopani. Okay, we all know Glencoe. This is not a small company. Glencoe is one of the largest the mining companies out there. It's on the top of the list. But Glencoe was pulling out of Zambia. Okay? Why? Because the way they were structured, even the mine minister himself explained it, Dam Sokotwane explained it. Like, look, Zambia's law when it comes to the mining sector is very different from our neighbors. Okay? Why is the Congo having so much investment in the mining area than Zambia? Okay? Because the blueprint that we've been using all these years was the very wrong one. And the taxes we were charging were very exorbitant. It wasn't making the investor, have that confidence to say, look, I need to invest more in these mines. So they were moving out. They started in 2019. saying that we're going to move out of Zambia. Okay? So, Iriashi, after Waingira power as the European government, we said we need to revise these laws and make the investor feel comfortable and put Zambia at the same level of other mining countries. Okay? So if you are Glencoe to remain.
Vachanda, I think on that one, Vachanda, you have very, very, very wrong information about the causes of all that. What you've just said there is not correct. And I must be able to be very clear with you. If you want to know why Glencoe was leaving and why it wanted to close, you can check the Bloomberg. You can go to a lot of mining sites and look at what was happening to Glencoe. You can do that.
I know that, but was it a matter of taxes?
It wasn't about
there was
that.
Reporting that we're not making profits.
Glencoe, it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that for Glencoe. I'm telling you that. I was there for almost 2 weeks. I was there in Mopani. I was part of the people that were investigating and challenging when Mopani wanted to close the mine.
So, Nishimari, just for the sake of Gufuma.
But Glencoe had created more problems globally because they were facing a lot of lawsuits. And even Mopani would have been one of those assets that would have been gone for them. They wanted to show that now they financial capacity to maintain other creditors where they were. They needed to get rid of the assets so that because they were involved in so many things if you have taxes. That is why there is no way at what they did. There was no way. Why more problems? And this information is there. Wanted to do that. Otherwise, in the Tawashi tissue. But there's no one who can close a mine. Wamapanga first new grand smelter, state of the art. Taira bomba putamula isula. Mwapanga new shaft. Tamula isula. No how taxes. What taxes do we get from Zambia that can make people run away? What taxes do we get in Zambia from the mines? All the mines combined, they give us something like $500 million. And yet you find that one shareholder in what was getting 100 million. Why? You should watch why poverty. They will tell you that one shareholder, $100 million in profit has ended. What did we get as Zambia? So some of these things we shouldn't be fooled by what we see that, oh, what they want to appease us. And when we that have been there, we tell you who have not been there. Listen, because for the better of the country, it's not for the better of an individual.
Yeah, but in any case, well, like you're saying, they had so much debt, they had all these things and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Zambia regained the mine. Okay, because I remember Sokotwane was on TV the other day. Well, some when it happened, he was saying like Mopani has been sold to us for $1. People were laughing. I don't know if you remember that.
But I was part of the people that were there. The problem, we are not listening to me.
No.
Sokotwane was not even a minister at the time we were dealing with Glencoe. That $1 thing and the creditors and everything, I know that very well. I was there. That's how we got Mopani for 90% shareholding.
For $1, definitely.
No, okay, that's why we accrued the debt that we did. What happened is there was a restructure after now by European device in power. They restructured it and changed the shareholding. And this is a matter that you hear in court. Say, oh, when you change the shareholding, why didn't you go to parliament? And the politics drag into that process. So there were things that were done rightly for us as Zambians. But we lost it because the policy changed anyway. This is the government. Government changed the policy to get back to 49%. We had a 90%. And that's why now, how did you transfer this shareholder shares without going to parliament? Those issues that were in parliament and
but the thing is this. That because it didn't go directly to the government. It went to ZCCM.
But I know all that. I can explain in details of that. I know those things that you want to do. I know them better than you were. Here. I was there.
All right, we can't do a go back and forth. Let's bring in let's bring a fresh perspective on this. Doc, your comment on the ramping up of copper production to 12%.
Which dog?
It is definitely a good sign for more good things to come. It's a small increase, but we don't know what our input was in that. So we don't know the profit margin in that. So yeah, until we know the balance sheet and see what we put in and what has come out and see where we are
correct
in red or not. But yeah, but the most important thing is a good sign for the beginning. Remember, our aim is bigger than that. We are aiming for a lot more than that. So yeah, it's a good sign for a start. I would have been disappointed if I heard that the copper production went down. But anything positive is good for now.
Great.
Fantastic.
That's the way it should be. Shall we move on to the next topic? And the next topic is, what was that topic about, Chilufia?
Well, I just turned on the TV in the morning and I saw there was a battle between Mumbipiri and Mike Porsche. I don't know if you saw that one.
It was sort of personal. I think they know each other more than some of us know them. So
it
went too personal, and I just said this is like it was too personal to me to what it was not. Politics.
Can you guys hear me?
But here's the thing. The question I even asked last time was like, problems or problems follow her? What is it about her? Wherever she goes, she's entangled in political violence, aligned with that. Well, we know that the DPP, I said there's no case for her, because of certain information, technicalities that were, that some information or evidence wasn't provided properly. So they said, look, we cannot pursue this case. Let's drop the case, right? But Mike Porsche went there and told everybody to say, look, she came with an entourage of PF thugs to our meeting, okay? And a gentleman in the entourage that she was in assaulted one of the individuals and stole money and stuff like that, right? And then that person went in the same car they came in with, which was the car for Mumbipi. So that's what it was, that she was like, she wasn't the one who did the crime, but she was there, and she was an accessory to this. Being accessory to murder and all these other things. Okay, so but again, these two, they went personal, but we know funny over and expensive. Murume is more, it's got more money than you. I'm like, no, they are no. But what want to do? What's the fact of the matter? The fact of the matter is, you came with an entourage of thieves or thugs, thief thugs, to go and attack your fellow member of parliament.
I think for me, I would defend Mumbipiri on this one, like I did last time. You see, Zambia is a country that is governed by rules and laws. To manufacture things that are not there is not good. If Mike Porsche knew that Mumbipiri a phone, why should you go and report her for stealing a phone and 10,000? Why? What was the essence?
Therefore, we are downtown. Imo mwansenda motoka yenu. Tangwishi wapo ndefo kuya mkuchi. Mwapaki na motoka fila na mwikala. Ine naingira kanshi ndefo kuya mkoroba banki. Naingira mu banki na roba no koroba. Na fuma imo mwanjensha no kunjensha. Pum, tuano kwe. The police are going to charge you
But money bachanda. The police will not charge me. Ngana bamona uwibira ti uyu. That is what the problem is. Ngatabatu mwene yoko tuibire, you come and charge everybody. That is okay. But when the person who is stealing now we know that anyway. Because Mike Imposha was confessing that Demo Mbipiri be the phone. It is another gentleman. Crime kwambukira because you have now you have no, you can't do things like that. That's why DPP said no. There's no case here. It's because we want to manufacture and say we want to punish this person. It shouldn't be because I want to. The law must be what it is, not what we think it should be. But Minister, even to make, you see, one thing that was also very bad is for the minister to pick a phone and start exchanging words over the air. Why? What for? And especially that the DPP has pronounced himself there. There was no need. Online like that. No. And more
he had to protect himself because she was online.
You can't
they're talking about him.
You cannot protect yourself when you've lost a case. Mike Imposha took the case there and he lost it lamentably. So you can't protect. You have to protect yourself from what? You lost an accusation. The accusation, you've lost it. And then you go in a vicious attack with the lady on the online like that. You are a minister. And when you're a public figure, you must understand this. It happened to all of us. We were attacked, we were called names. But we didn't go after the people, our civil citizens that were coming after us. How many times was I told, you know, I never corrupt my minister, someone even coming in my office and telling me in my face. I tell him, no, my dear, we are not. This is what we do. And at the end of the day, but yes, this is what you do. You cannot start attacking the people you're leading. They are not your servants. You are their servants. They are your bosses. So, if you ever make him push about he should not be doing those things. There's no need, but there should be no need in having that conversation and confrontation with Wamumbi online. It was not necessary. In my opinion, not necessary. You need just to move on and forget about it. Even now, you should just leave it the way it is and move on. I submit here.
Deep Thinker, you have any comments on Mumbi Piri's release and all the drama surrounding her?
I have respect for the rule of law. In Zambia, this is just me, please don't. This is just me. In Zambia, there is so much conspiracy theories and so much propaganda going on. So when issues like this come up, I wait for the law to tell me whether there is a case or not. That's what I rely on. Matters that go to court, I rely on the court ruling, and that's what I respect. Who said what? Who did what? It could be speculation. Each side, they have their own story. But the law is going to make sure that things are investigated and then there's a ruling. That's my take on that issue. I yield.
Great. Doc, your comment on Mumbi Piri?
I think she likes confrontations. That's the way I look at it. And she builds, what do they call it? She builds mountains out of moles or something like that. They say it. Because that was not supposed to be the case. She shouldn't have gone to the other camp and start speculating that, oh, you printed ballots, I want to go in and force herself in. That's uncalled for. If she suspected that the UPND had printed, she should have reported to the police.
Exactly.
And the police would have gone there with a warrant, whatever they have, to say, okay, we have received this complaint from your opponents. We want to see inside what you have. But for her to take the law into her hands, to go into that UPND house and say, no, force our way in and start doing all, it was unnecessary. It was not necessary for her. And I didn't even know that she was married until yesterday when I had that confrontation. If she was my wife, I think the husband should advise her to tone down a little bit, because because I've never heard. I didn't even know that she was married until yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she was married, but I think the husband should advise her to tone down a little bit.
Yeah, it's very important. Knowing about movie period character, and in fact, to make it worse.
You can't use the generality that you want to show me. Then you are coming there, you are allow that to forum really.
But it?
Yeah, you want to show me. Wow, that is really.
I'm not specifying what the tribe, but we all know that bad in understand. It's well known. But it's neither there or here, and it's not it's not gonna make or break her. But what I'm saying is this: Vamumbi piri vamayovadia, bari temwa confrontation. I was watching her Hot FM interview, whatever she interview. You can tell this person, she really, she just believes in what she believes in. There's no way that anybody else could tell her what to say. Oh, can you come down, or can you do this and stuff like that? She just believes in what she believes in. And as a woman, you should not be found in all those kind of, especially at the political level of Africa. She's at a very high level. She shouldn't be involving herself with other cadres. Okay, let the cadres go and do whatever the cadres do. What about other political representatives or council members around? Why were they not there? How she found herself and convinced herself to drive a car full of cadres to go and confront Mighty. Why? Okay, so that's why people want to find out that why in the world did she do something like that? She could have just relaxed and sat wherever she was and discuss issues and businesses with another ministers. Who knows which party it is, whether it's PF1, PF2, PF3, right? It would have been better. Other than buy mafia, buy mafia. I want to go and confront you. Are you the police? Okay, that's why we don't have law enforcement officers. They could have just simply called the police to say, no. There's something.
In conclusion,
they're very violent. Look what happened in Petauki. They went to burn down a house of a UPND camp. You see? And people are complaining, say, look, I see where we live, we're very civil people. Okay? What audacity do they have? And to even do that? My PF is very violent partner. I submit.
I think the concept of violence back here is that they do both UPND and PF, but in Kawambwa, Trevor Mwinde is reported there. He took violence there. When the friends are complaining about being beaten, the government needs to come in and quash both sides of this violence. If violence cannot just be quashed from quashing PF people that are violent, they must quash the UPND group which is violent. Then you are going to see progress in terms of our relationship as a country. Because we cannot be having by PF by UPND, by UPND by PF, Gabalwa, then Mwaikatabamu. Selective justice is going to create a problem for our country if it is not done properly. For me, I want to see you are on your own. You are on your own from the president, what he said in action. Such that if the UPND card, you can't have cadres that gang up and have a press conference that they are going to go and get you. We will assist the police to arrest anyone. It doesn't work like that. You are that boy picked up when you beaten up nicely kwa police and but what happens those that beat him up? There are instances that we are seeing UPND supporters going after PF and beating them up. So we need to stop this violence. This violence needs to stop on both sides, not on one side. That is when we're going to have peace, and that's when we're going to live as In conclusion, selective justice should not be allowed in our country.
Great. Let's talk about the UN rapporteur on freedom of expression, who is visiting the country. Irene Khan, I think that's her name. Yes, it is. Visit to Zambia and all the lies that are being peddled by you know who. Let's start with my handsome doctor husband in Puerto Rico. Your view on that, Dr. Liswaneso? Oh, he's dancing salsa. All right. Shall we move on to the deep thinker? Deep thinker, Mrs. Irene Khan in Zambia, who is the UN representative on freedom of expression. She's on a 10-day fact-finding mission in Zambia, and all the lies that are being peddled by you know who. Your comment.
All right, lies or not, it's a good thing that person is in there, and we'll just wait for the report from after she's done with the investigation. I hope everything is going to be transparent, and my hope also is that she's going in with having done some kind of research to have at least an idea of the background of Zambia, where we're coming from, where we are, and where we are going. Because when you undertake an initiative like this, you have to understand the whole landscape of the country, probably going back a few years and coming to this level, because that's the only time you can do a very good comparison of the shrinking space, the democratic space in a country. So I would really love for her to go through the whatever pointers she's looking at. Look at Kaunda, compare him to those pointers. Look at Juruba, compare those pointers. Manawasa, Rupia Band, all the way to HH, look at those pointers. And make a determination as to whether the space is shrinking now compared to what it was. Because if she's only going to look at HH and say this is shrinking by these standards, then she's going to miss the point as to whether HH has improved some things or some things that have gotten worse since he became president. I yield.
All right, let me bring in the man who just popped in. Hopefully he's back from Zambia. And this is my relative from Shikatende, Shibuyunji district. Mr. Himwami Mach, are you still in Zambia or you're back in the UK?
Munyam.
Still in Zambia. Still in Zambia.
How's your base?
My
Maize.
maize.
Mapopwe.
Ndari wika fertilizers uno aribo gaboto.
Ah, nice. Nice.
My sunflower is doing fine.
This year to Laria way.
Yes, we shall.
Mm.
The democratic space. Hello?
We are talking about the UN rapporteur on freedom of expression visit to Zambia, and the so-called shrinkage space being purported by you know who. Your comment?
There is a lot of space in as far as freedom of expression is concerned. There's so much association. People can go on radio, talk what they want. They can go on social media, speak what they want. Yes, they are followed, but after they are followed, the law is applied. They involve the police to do the investigations. And when someone is found wanting, that's when they say that the space has shrinked. It is shrinking because the law is being applied to curb the perpetrators. Perpetrators want to have it like it's all theirs. They can do whatever they want. There's no such a country where people do whatever they want. That would be anarchy. You can't have a nation where, God forbid, you speculate a rumor that HH has got a stroke.
Hey, I heard about that.
That
No.
was actually going to be the next topic.
Look. Someone has started that rumor, and the next thing they'll say, there's no democratic space, and yet they are free. They are not they are not under lock and key. There's a lot of space. There's no space for those that are perpetrators.
Can I ask a question about and you continue?
Yes, sir.
Is spreading a rumor illegal?
It causes anxiety.
So it's causing anxiety and illegal thing.
Yes. Why should you make
Bakazia, let me just answer you this way.
Why should you make people be at why should people not be at ease? Who are you to
reporting on the head of state's health? That's tantamount to a very, very, very serious crime.
Which crime is that? Which law is that which is broken? That one.
Oh, someone actually.
Madam Moderator,
No, guys, hold on. The topic at hand right now is the visit by the UN. We will talk about that topic in the next one. So let's not jump guns. Let's finish on the UN's visit to Zambia, and then we go to the next topic.
You see, the people like Emmanuel Mwamba and what they talk about, it's not there. You know, even the UN, when they come to monitor, they should look at who the previous records. You can't monitor without looking at the history and judge the present. It's not fair. The present, people are okay. They are free. Unlike in the previous regime, I mean, there was no space. I was a victim. I was transferred from one very good school to another one, a very bad one, just because I supported UPND. There was no space. I couldn't talk. The transfer came in a manner that was not even normal. Please, there's a lot of space. I yield.
Great. Vakazia, your comment, let's restrict to the UN rapporteur's visit, please.
Wow. I think I would go with until I think she's having a press conference on the 28th. That's what I know. So on the 28th, that's when we can know for sure what she has discovered in terms of that. People have a right to complain, and government has a right to, create an environment which makes people feel comfortable. So, irrespective of what happened last time, because like Mamasa is saying, if wrong things were happening then, it should not give a justification to continue. More important is that there are nations that were linked, and also there was a plan that the UPND government actually put in place in terms of strengthening the rule of law, the rights and liberties of people, not to use the police to gun people, and things like that. So, are they living up to that expectation? Or is it that there is also an adoption of what was happening last time to transfer it to now, so that it is justified at all? Because you used to beat us last time, therefore we must beat you. Is it a question of revenge, or is it a question of change in terms of direction? So for me, I would wait for the rapporteur to give her press conference and give us what our findings look like. Because right now, government anywhere, government even in the last government could not accept that there was the cadres were a menace. You remember very well around that. It is after the Patriotic Front lost government that they lost power, that they came to accept that, oh, the cadres were a menace and they were misbehaving and they caused a lot of mayhem. This time is a time for UPND to reflect. Are the cadres causing mayhem? Are the police causing mayhem for the opposition and other people? If the answer is no, that everything is okay, then there is nothing to worry about. But if there is an element of what used to happen and that has continued, then the same principle and the same rule is going to be applied to the current government in terms of how the democratic space is being seen. And the lastly is that when people complain, it's important to listen to their complaint, investigate the complaint, have a conversation with them, and then move forward. I think me coming from a point where social dialogue was very much in. When someone raises a problem, you don't dismiss it. You sit down with them, discuss, have a plan around how to address it, and then you move forward together. So I'll wait for the UN rapporteur to give her side of things. Then we can be able to have maybe a comment next week on Sunday, because the report would have been done and the press conference would have been done.
Madam Moderator.
Yes, Deep Thinker, come in.
Just two comments. First, I want to address what Bakazia just said. You said that you coming from a space where if something happened, it's discussed and find a solution. Is that what you said? I just want to get clarity on that.
Yes, that is where I come from. In the
Okay.
neighbors, just to exemplify that. That is where I come from the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And also, when you deal with labor relations, the trade unions and employers, there is no one size fits all. You sit down and discuss. That's how we manage to deal with a lot of labor relations matters. That's why for the time that pretty much I was in the Ministry of Labor, we never saw a strike, an industrial strike of a big massive. So because of that principle.
Okay. What I'm going to say now is not for conversation or debate. I just want you to reflect. What you just described, is it because you are within the structures of the government that the issues that came up were addressed? What about those that were outside the establishment where their issues brought to the table and addressed, just for reflection, not for response? So the second thing I'm asking is, Madam Moderator, this lady who's in Zambia, was she invited or imposed? How did it come up for her to end up in Zambia to investigate
But
the
deep thinker,
democratic space?
but deep thinker. Let me probably have some experience around UN systems and how reports come. I'm just giving an example of what I think might have happened, which I think usually happens when you deal with UN systems. So when there's a complaint, for instance, in 2017, Zambia was cited by the International Labour Organization as having not done enough to combat child labor. So we appeared before the committee in Geneva. This is a tripartite committee which is called the Committee on Application of Standards, it was CAS. In that committee, you are put on the spot from global system. The other countries speak about you, and you justify what you've done, the plans you've made, and then they created a team that comes to Zambia to come and see that you have actually implemented what you said you would do. It's an embarrassing if you've not done anything. Lucky enough, we had the plan, we invited them, we showed the program, we showed the projects that we are running, how we are going to deal with going in the future and stuff like that. So in the human rights systems, it happens the same way. When there's a complaint on the UN system, the UN sends this rapporteur to a country which has received the complaint and say, okay, go and investigate and look at what is happening and then give us a report on that. So this is part of the UN system. Mukwai.
On that issue, about the Human Rights Commission, repertoire. She was invited by the current government to come here.
That's
Okay?
why.
Let's go the background.
That's why it is hard to interrupt a person when he's speaking, because now
Finish.
you allow me to finish. You interrupt me. And this is what I was going to now. The next thing about the human rights. Now you rudely interrupt me, and then
I apologize. You can continue.
Once even a report is given to the UN, the government invites. There's no way a UN would show up here with uninvited. It doesn't work that way. Even in our case, they have to be invited to come. They can't just show up here without the government knowing. So that question of saying doesn't make sense, because there's no UN system that can show up in Zambia uninvited. They have to be invited, and there's the Ministry of Foreign Affairs handles that aspect. Through the diplomatic channels, that person is invited and they come to investigate. That is what happens.
Okay.
All right.
So,
I guess in a nutshell, in a nutshell, deep thinker, your answer is that Miss Irene Khan was invited by the government of Zambia. Now about you can come in.
Yeah. So I think let's go to the backdrop of the story. How did we come to the point where we had to invite the lady here, or human rights, to come here in Zambia? How did we reach there? If you look at what was been happening in the last 1 week, the PF and the Tonsi Alliance, they've been spreading falsehoods, rumors, sending letters, writing letters left, right, and center to the UN. Okay, about how the democratic, the democratic system has shrinked in Zambia, and how politicians in the opposition have been persecuted. So they've been writing all these letters. That's why even there was that fake story in the mast saying like, look, Zambia has been removed, okay, from the Human Rights Commission Council. When in matter of fact, Zambia is not even a member of the council at the moment as we speak. So abena Zambia balingire batampo because abantu aba they are no good. They want to paint this country black. Now, PF, when it was formed, when Washukuru formed PF, it was a matter of being somebody who was patriotic for a country, which is Zambia. They're trying to paint this country black. It's because bali mupata HH. Mwali mupata HH mwe bantu bakolesa. Attack HH directly. Don't attack the country of Zambia and say muchalo echi if you shani nafyo, which is not the fact and which is not the real story. Okay, so after all those reports and all those letters they've sent, the Zambian government said, look, however, let us invite them to come and see for themselves. So that's how she came, because she was invited by the current government to say, come. This thing I can tell you for a fact, 100%, it would never happen in the PF regime. When there was the worst atrocities being done at that time. They knew what they were doing. But us, we say, look, we've got nothing to hide. Come, we're inviting you, come and judge for yourself. And for sure, at the end of the day, she'll be able to compare and see are truly Zambians, okay, put under duress, are political leaders being persecuted, or is just the law? Because sometimes abantu balafifurunganya between what the law is and anything else. They think if your minister you're immune to the law. No. If you do something wrong, the law will follow you. Okay? And the law will apply accordingly. Okay? And the HH is not the one that it's the law. HH just said, let the law take its course. And the law enforcement officers will come and they'll investigate you if you're doing something wrong.
In conclusion,
we want to acquire this. Let's forget, let's not paint our own country. Where is the patriotism? Where is it? For Zambia, why are we throwing away our own identity just for the sake of a man who's not eligible? Where is our patriotism? Can we, for once, can we stand up and say, even if you're in the opposition, you can say this is wrong, this is right? Okay, because there's no way that the democratic space is shrinking. Where is it shrinking? What is the measurement of shrinking? If people were being killed in the last 4 years when the PF was running the show, and then people are not being killed, so how is it shrinking? How? Can somebody tell me the measurement? How has it shrunk?
You want us to tell you?
Answer me.
all right. Anyway, for me, here's my thoughts on this. Mrs. Irene Khan, I'm going to urge you, madam, to not just end your findings by talking to the elite. I need you to visit my father's village in Shikatende and talk to my people there and find out how they feel about this freedom of expression in Zambia. Also, go to my mother's village in Lugwalo, my friend's village in Kashikish. my friend's village in Solwezi, Mongo, Sesheke, Mwandi. I need that report when I read it to be inclusive of everybody. Let's just not end it with the likes of Harry Calabar, Membe, because these are elite. We hear from them every day. They talk all day long. That would be my suggestion to the
And can I add
representative.
something?
Go
Can
ahead.
I add something?
Go ahead.
There has been no radio station closed, no television station closed, no newspaper closed. Everything is running normally. So for that one saying the space has shrinked, I'm yet to be convinced, because we saw this happening. Can you radio station produce a footage, or you television to produce a footage where you're interviewing this person? Those things are not there. What space has shrinked? Even before she presents a report, there's something which we as Zambians, let's write our own history. She has.
No, you can't invite me and come and tell me what I should do. Me, somebody will date it. You see, when you invite someone at that level, let them have an independent mind to investigate the way they will be trained. Oh, this is not a first meeting. She has done.
Yes, but I'm also presenting.
But you cannot come.
I'm presenting what is on the ground.
But if it is on the ground, she'll find it. You know what is the problem is that, you see, if we start to preempt this kind of conversation, it's like fish to eat dinner.
It's not preempting. We are just saying, let her report being more inclusive.
Madam Moderator,
It is
Yes, Valentine.
she will find what she
can I
wants.
come in a little?
Sure, come in, Deep Thinker.
All right. If I started off asking those questions to say there should be some benchmarks that this person is bringing as they investigate these things, and it has to be in comparison. Because if the democratic space during Kaunda was at 5%, and it went to 8% with MMD, and it went to 15% with PF, and it went to 14% in UPND, then it's shrinking. If it has gone up to 20%, then it's not shrinking. That doesn't mean we don't have any more work to do. So I'm hoping that when this person was invited, the political parties sat down together and said, these are the benchmarks that are going to, we want investigated. You can't go to somebody's country using UN standards to investigate a country without input from the country.
That's a deep thinker. That's a deep thinker.
So because when you talk about democracy, Saddam Hussein will tell you that my country
We
is
can even
democratic.
feel the smile in the airwaves.
So I'm hoping there was a caucus where they say, okay, everybody, let's sit down.
Look
One,
at
two,
him.
Yeah? You should see it now.
What deep thinker is saying is exactly that we are all saying. Okay?
Yeah, but
Actually, it's good that you're agreeing to what he's saying.
Look at this. You see, the deep thinker is saying, I wish, but the deep thinker is that our political systems is meant to be adversarial. They don't sit together and plan it together, because how can they plan together when the first thing that comes out of the mouth is how to insult each other? And then they are being insulted by these small boys that belong to both political parties. You find this is a boy who is just 20-year-old, is insulting the current president. And another boy who is 24 years is insulting the former president. And then they go back and start insulting the former ministers. This one in South, these are current ministers. When are they going to sit together? The problem has been that there are people that benefit from the confusion. The confusion of not having this civil discourse where you say you share a different opinion and mine. Let's sit down here and discuss and see where we differ. There are people that just never that is wrong, please. Don't say you will be wrong.
In conclusion,
presuming that he knows what I'm talking about when I'm not completed. Can they be protected by Wakadin?
But let's see the man speak.
Exactly.
They are protected.
Yes, and the stop assumption that you know where I'm going, you don't.
Yes. Now, in conclusion, finish up your thought.
In conclusion, what the big thinkers said is, I hope we are using the Zambian benchmark of this process so that we can go and say, oh yes, either the space is shrinking or it's not shrinking. And also, lastly, the first thing I said, if the things are better than what they were, well and good. If they are not, again, we need to improve.
All right. And so let's just quote Ms. Khan's words. She says she's on a mission to engage with all stakeholders and provide recommendations to strengthen freedom of expression in Zambia. Those are her exact words. That's why I came in and said, I want to see her in Lugwalo. I want to see her in Shikatende. I want to see her in Kashikishi.
I want to see
to gather all this information as she makes her recommendation. Anyway, let's move on.
As well.
Let's move on.
What does Mumbiri say?
Let's move on. And this really pissed me off yesterday because I was having a jolly good time when I started getting these messages and phone calls as if I had a direct line to Community House. Emmanuel Mwamba went on rampage yesterday and started off with a question on his Facebook page, wondering where the president was. And then a PF aligned page called the Tonse Alliance came in and reported that our president had a stroke the previous night and he was refusing treatment. Instead, he opted to go to Namwala without providing any facts.
Yeah.
And let's be honest with ourselves. Is this what you're calling your plan B? Alarming the nation? I mean, when it comes to the health of the president, that's no joking matter. Nobody wants to read innuendos. I mean, shall we also say, okay, Iwe Emmanuel Mwamba, can you tell us, seeing as you are the last person to be seen in about Chiluba, what happened to Chiluba?
That's question. People
let's be serious, Vane. Is this your plan B?
You know, Mwamba, I think he needs to. His politics. Our politics, yeah. The way he does his politics, or he's been doing his politics for the last 10 years, you know, he needs to know that politics now. Politics now, it's not the way. And then riding on that, you know, you think that you're gonna get views. You're gonna
get mute yourself.
Yeah, you need to mute yourself. So that's not what it's about. Politics of nowadays are not about propaganda. And even the young people of today, they want to listen to facts and they want to listen to real checks and balances. A story and it's gone viral. Okay? Now, you're forgetting that Muntu Mulera Ndapo is the head of state. Okay? And it's on serious violations to talk about a president's health. And Bagazia was telling me, oh, hey, which law? I'm telling you the truth. Once the law visits him, he should not say, oh, I'm being persecuted. Oh, no, Momo for Balist. But you're saying things that are not correct without verified information, portraying
He asked
to the
the
public. Let me finish. Portraying to the public and to the world at large. Okay? Atikateka narwara. When urwere kanshidi ite lungu urwere ku South Africa. Okay? You're trying to divert the story. Urwere ni lungu na yakuisa to South Africa. You know, because of drinking dry. You know? No, according to the people,
you see that level of disrespect that I talk about.
Now, what we're saying is this: the current president is HH. That's the current president, and he's a father of the nation. There's no way you can create falsehoods or false stories about him and his health. Okay? You need to really check formulation. Kuli bakateka vo trace mwe bantu akwalesa ero bakapokola baisa nkuno kinya pa dopamine walanda shani we no but stop no. You should watch and mind what you're saying, because per level, because mulapela flowers that no is a well trained or well educated or most experienced is civil servant, but a civil servant do wako panga fe propaganda pa TV na pa media. Experience. I don't think I'll be inspired. Thank you.
My question is that, is it an offense to ask a question about the health of the president?
When you report that the president has a bowel stroke and he's refusing treatment, instead he has opted to travel to Namwala. What are you trying to tell Zambians?
Emmanuel Mwamba on his page, he never said that. This is where the problem.
Mwamba is also in charge of Tonse Alliance.
He refused.
There is no way Mwamba will start with a question and then within minutes, Tonse Alliance picks up and says the president had a stroke. Oh, come on now. Let's be serious. Yes, Valentine, come in.
Can I finish before you come? Okay,
Yes,
Go ahead.
Kazia, we listening.
Moderator, mute people that are not talking, please.
Okay. Noted. Go ahead, Bakazia. Finish up.
Emmanuel Mwamba just asked the question, where is the president? That is not an offense anywhere on earth. You cannot constitute that because I've asked a question and another person on the other page post something and say, oh, it is you who has posted the same thing. It doesn't work like that.
But that page is run by Emmanuel Mwamba.
No,
we know that.
Listen, he responded to Creson's response. Say, you know, Creson, you have Zicta. You can go and verify who is the administrator of those platforms. Anything that I want to announce, I announce on my page. That is what he said. And you see, he in a mistake, in a problem, like I do right. First of all, let me correct you, Bacha. The president is a national asset. where he is, it is a concern of everybody. That is why if the president moves, he doesn't just disappear and reappear anywhere else. No, it starts to cause speculation. And one, speculation can be right and it can be wrong. That is why when the president is moving, it's an undercover mission he's been involved in, doesn't want people to know. The moment it leaks, people must be told now what is going on. The president cannot disappear in Lusaka and appear in Amara, and then you say that, oh, people will not speculate. They will speculate. We have had these problems before in the past when the President Sata died. What was some of them saying? Oh, we were with him jogging in the street of London. That's not enough. We have lessons on this. And for me, the people handling the presidency must wake up. You cannot be letting the president just disappear. If the president has a different program, simply say so. When Mwamba asked the question, where is the president? It was just a question of is in Namwala, period. So what? So
He
what
wasn't even in Namwala, Bayo.
I'm just
In conclusion. Anyway, in conclusion.
you may allow me on this one. Because I'm speaking now as even one of the former civil servants. If the president is in state house, he's in state house. Or if the president is moved out, there's nothing wrong. You just tell people this is where he is. The explanation of what he's doing where he is another thing. So to come to a question, don't respond by threatening me. You create more problems and more questions when you start threatening. The next thing, someone is giving statements. No, we shall arrest you, you will disappear. That guy, you want to make the members of parliament, he goes on a rampage. This guy should just be arrested and just do. You don't do things like that. It's a country of laws. The president is a civil servant. The president is not a civil servant, is a public officer. Who we have employed is our servant. We are the bosses that elected him. So where he is our business. If he's sick, it's our business. So this thing of saying wanting to shut down.
In conclusion.
But there's nothing that he did wrong there. He was just asking a question. He deserves answers. Give him the answers, not the threats.
Deep thinker, and then we go to my lovely doctor in Puerto Rico. Before we go to Mr. Mwami, in that order, please.
For me, I ask a lot of questions, so you can pardon me if I'm overbearing. So the first thing is, because you stated that is speculations. The way the statement was crafted, whether it's Mamba or somebody else, because this is personalization becomes irrelevant. The courts will deal with that. It's about the information. Was information presented as speculation? And then when the poll, is it in the Zambian law, because I'm not familiar with that. In the Zambian law, the president being a public figure, if you talk about the president's health, is it a law enforcement issue or is it a political issue or is it just a freedom of speech? I'm still going on with the question.
All right.
So what does the law say about speculations or propaganda? What response did UPND come up with to rebuttal that information? Or was UPND supposed to rebuttal or leave it to the police if the issue is law enforcement space? I don't know. And what happens when the president is on national duties where he needs secrecy? Because there are some things and some places that the president has to be smuggled in and out without letting people know. I know that. So those are the questions I have. Is it speculation? What is it? A law enforcement issue with the speculators and propagandists? What response should UPND come up with? And when the president is on national duty that requires secrecy, what does the law of Zambia or constitution, the Zambian constitution say about that? Those are the questions I have.
I can provide answers to that,
Hold on, Wakazia. Let Dr. Liswaniso come in and Bamaja, and then we'll come back to you. Let's give other people a chance to talk. Dr. Liswaniso, please.
Okay. To me, we are working from, for example, what your PS is saying here is that the Mwamba was just asking a question. To me, Mwamba was asking a wrong question to a wrong people, because to me, he saw the report. If he was a really well-meaning citizen of Zambia, he would have gone to the so-called Mauka or whoever wrote that article and said, hey, give me more details. Where have you got those details? And if he didn't ask those people, but instead he goes to State House and start blowing no, I'm asking, where is he? I saw people at Charleston. What? He was talking about all those type of things. So his intention, and I discussed this with the Chandagazia here. I discussed this. The intention of Mwamba was not in good faith. Somebody who has good intentions doesn't approach the problem that way. You would say, oh, the author, you go to the author, my author, what's going on here? Where do you get this information? All this. Then you say, oh, let me also confirm with the State House. But for him, he added salt to the wound. So his intentions were not good. He did it in bad faith. He wanted to excite people and say, oh, HH is sick, HH is stroke and everything. He didn't do it the right way. If I hear a rumor myself, I'll go to that rumor. You know the source. There was a name there of the article, who wrote it. You find out from that. And if you don't get details, then you go to the State House. But for him, the way he did it, it wasn't right. It was I don't know, his intention was not in good faith. That's all I can say.
Mr. Maja.
I have a medical condition. That is my thing for private consumption. Why should his health be publicized by Mwamba? Is Mwamba a spokesperson for the president? The mere fact that you can go around peddling lies about someone's health, that is witchcraft. Thank you.
Now, Bakazia, you can respond to Deep Thinker's questions.
Firstly, a deep thinker. I like the way he posed questions. Number one, everything had the beginning. And how we handled the things from the beginning would decide the outcome of the matters. What was the response from State House when Mwamba asked about where is the president? Because I can also ask, even now, I have a right, is my president. I can ask, where is the president? What was the response from Clayton Hamasaka? Did Clayton Hamasaka say, oh, the president is in State House? The next question was, the president was scheduled to officially open this fertilizer, whatever, groundbreaking. He is not there. Where is the president? The minister went to open on behalf of the president. When did the program for the president change? The failure to answer the questions led to the speculation. And it is a speculation that went outside control. Because now everybody jumped on it. Other people for right reasons, other people for wrong reasons. Personally, I was worried when I saw the news that the president was supposed to open is not there. Emmanuel Mwamba asked a question, then the person is threatening him. Why? Then it starts to create a problem there. Now, the second question was, the president has every right to go in covert undercover meetings and everything where everyone should not know. If it leaks, someone must be held accountable for the leakage of where the president is. Let's say we know that the president is in State House at night. Then we see the president in Kanyama. Oh, is this not the president? Or someone come and said, after the president was in Kanyama at this house, and here the pictures. Meanwhile, the president is in State House. Yes, he was in Kanyama. Someone has leaked where the president is. Someone must be held accountable within the people that are handling the president. The president has to have top-notch privacy and secrecy of certain things that he will do. If you let the president, by every Jim and Jake, knowing where the president is and what is happening, or information leaking, it is a cause for the people handling the president to be changed. Not the citizens. When they come and say, oh, the president is this. You can't threaten them. You can't threaten them. Say, oh, you are asking the president as well. No, because if the president is in Lusaka, he must be told he's in Lusaka and he has a different program. If I speculate that the president is sick, you can't come and arrest me. If I ask, is the president sick? No, let us speculate. The president is not sick, he's in State House and is very well functioning. Chapwa. Not to be rebutted to say, oh, why are you asking the president? You are now, no. It is a problem that we've created for our presidents that start giving them to start thinking that they are over what in a certain way. No, these are people we elect to save us, not the other way around. We protect them, we respect them, and every system must be enhanced to protect the presidents. What has happened right now, heads must roll within State House. Not going kuli mwamba. They are deflecting their own responsibility. They are deflecting it. Because if the president is not well or something has changed, there are even statutory instruments and other things that come in force. If president maybe 6 months at if he wants to go on holiday, he can go to Namwala without us knowing. He can be there at his farm, see whatever he wants to do, and come back to Lusaka without us knowing. But the moment we know, or the moment we ask, we saw him in Namwala, you must tell us what he was doing in Namwala, because there was no official communication. The president's movements, if they are going to be undercover, they must remain undercover. If they are going to be where people should see them, they must be communicated to the public so that people know. If to start threatening people because they've asked questions about the health of our president, they must stop. It will not help our country. The president needs to be protected properly. The president needs that is when he wants to do something in private, that privacy must be protected by the people around him, not exposing him. I don't know how to expose our president. When people start talking, then you want to go after me. I'm not impressed with that myself. So I'm a deep thinker, that is what happens. The president has privacy and it must be strictly protected. If it leaks out, someone must be held accountable, not the people asking.
There's one question that is not answered.
What is the question my deep thinker made?
There was a question to say, what does the law say about speculators or propagandists?
Yes, propagandists
over the issue of the health of the president.
But I'll answer that very easy. One, propaganda of any sort is not correct, is illegal. Because you can injure society, you can create a lot of problems. You can create an apparel when you start to create what is not there. But it has a base first. Because if you do not work with the base and you want to come and fix the end, you will, because the question that will come, if I speculate, I raise a propaganda to say, oh, the president is actually sick right now, our president. But so I didn't tell me why the president was. You didn't tell me.
Is it a prosecutable issue in the
you can't. Yeah, no, you can't. You can't win that one.
No, what I'm saying is propaganda and falsehood, where you're saying the president had a stroke. It doesn't matter whether it's Mwamba or it's somebody else. I'm just looking at the issue.
Okay.
Is it something that can be taken to court?
I see. Yes, you can try to prosecute it, but it is not likely to succeed. Because if you allege that he was not sick, you must prove that he wasn't sick. That is what the problem is. Our after prosecution, you must go with clean hands. So if people go to say, oh, the president was sick, then you say he was not sick, it is propaganda. Then the question of saying, no, he was sick, you must prove that he wasn't sick by answering the question, some of the questions that are being raised. And it becomes very difficult to prosecute it.
Well, Rakazi, I need you to answer this question.
Yeah.
The president didn't have a stroke.
He didn't have a stroke.
Information that went out to say he had a stroke. Is that a court issue or a public discussion issue?
That's a very tricky one, but keep thinking. I don't think it will be. I have no clue about how it can happen to be, because I've not seen the law. Maybe it is illegal, but I've not seen the law that actually prohibits that. I've not seen the law. So if I say it is a prosecutable matter, I'll be lying. And again, if I say it's not, I'll be lying again. So I've not seen the law that says that if you raise an issue against the president or the health of the president, you should be taken to court. I've not seen one law about that. Maybe if I see the law, then I can.
Anyway, I think this issue, we need to understand one thing. You know, you're not dealing with, you know, like, first of all, why would the current government support Kuliva Emmanuel Mwamba? Okay? Why should we report to you, Mwamba? Okay? The president has, you know, there's no way in the world where you can start speculating. Okay? When you start speculating, it means now your mission is to change people's minds and ideas about the head of state. So mwafika paba levels yali chinomba mwalefulunganya abantu. So that's why it can be, okay, you know, a prosecutional case, because umuntu wabuka ferero watampo kulanda palifi it watampo kusta insinuate. Why you're doing that, you don't know that you're raising the public, which is the Zambian people's concerns.
Rachand, the reason I'm asking these questions is because in the American sense, the president comes out and say, in this town, people are eating dogs. Okay? It's politics. The Democrats allows that. In Zambia, you had Kanye West say George Bush is a racist, and yet George Bush was the president at the time. He didn't go to court. It was just a public statement made and kept it moving. So I'm asking for the Zambian case because the laws are different from country to country. Doesn't matter whether it's Mwamba or somebody else. We're looking at the issue, because if we discuss people, Mwamba, who, we can go on and on and on and all the way to Kaunda pointing out. Let's look at the issue. This issue here that we're talking about.
Yeah. So because we're talking about the issue of the president's health. Okay. It's not a light thing. We can talk about
what does the law say, though?
We can talk about you know, so many things. We can discuss, oh, you know, he's stronger, he's he's got a deep voice. But when we start saying there's something wrong with the president, now it borders on the lines of inciting Zambian people, or inciting the local people to say, look, the president is not well. Which means now people now will start thinking, start panicking. You can cause confusion in the country.
Oh my word! How do
you can start creating confusion just by that single simple statement, and people will start panicking. Abantu must stay inside. we know about what about president. But people can start getting. You know how many people have HH? 2.8 million people, more than that. Now, people will be like, whatever president. However, you know, people start thinking the West.
But and I have one question for you. One question, and I want you to answer it now, and you proceed. What is wrong in answering a question when it is asked?
Answering what?
The question to say, where is the president? Why can't you answer where the president is?
It's not a hidden secret. There's nothing complicated on where the president is.
I'm answering the question.
Bachand,
Why?
may I answer that one?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with asking where is the president. The issue here is the insinuation that he had a stroke.
But deep thinker, there's a pattern of behavior before that was concluded. One is the person asks a question, where is the president? You do not answer. What is the state house not to answer?
But president from community house to state house every day. How can you be asking at where?
And this is where I'm telling you that if you want to prosecute this case, that is the start point. Because you who has the responsibility to respond.
Maybe he wants to be waved.
Gentlemen, we'll go on discussing this.
Uses the same road every day.
We will keep discussing this because he is asking what is wrong with asking where is the president. There is nothing wrong with asking where the president is. That's not a problem at all. The problem is with the insinuation that he had a stroke.
What? Deep thinker. That is why I'm saying that the insinuations come after, because it's a very simple question. Where is the president? If the president is somewhere, you answer it. This is I wouldn't have setting an president one. There's nothing wrong with setting you. But the point that I'm asking you is, you are president. You are in that state house to tell people where the president is. Why are you not castigating this guy for not answering the question? Because now it's like you are shooting this guy who has the responsibility to tell us where the president is each and every time we want to find out where the president is. And
so, is it a crime for Clayton not to say where the president is?
Let me tell you why it is a crime for Clayton not to do that. Because now he opens up speculation that we are discussing.
So what crime is he going to be charged?
There's no crime that is going to be charged with, unless the person speculating is going to be charged with anything.
So because in this scenario, where if there was to be a crime that needs investigation, what is it?
This is where the problem is happening. With me, I'm stuck on this one, which I want you colleagues to understand me on. Number one, I ask you, who works for State House? Where is the president? Then instead of telling me where the president is, what do you say? You're a propagandist, I will come and deal with you. Then now I say, oh, the president is sick. So that now you're quick to respond when I've said the president is sick. Then now you come jumping. No, he's not sick. He's in the State House. Why didn't you tell me the first time I asked you?
But what you just said, there's no crime there, Bakazi.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay. Let's do this, gentlemen. Because this issue can never end. And we're not going to find a tangible solution by the fact that, look, by Manuel Mwamba, you know, he likes to raise storms all the time. And we know him for who he is, okay? And it's written on the wall, like, this man is a propagandist. And we all know that. I mean, everybody. We all know that in the political scene, everybody you can ask, they will tell you. The first thing, when you mention Emmanuel, the first thing that will come is propaganda.
No, because you want to
right there
that way. Because it's telling you, ask you the relevant question. Ask me relevant questions doesn't want to.
So he tries to do all these things
Madam
all
Moderator.
the time.
Madam Moderator, I
All
think
the
Madam Moderator. Madam Moderator.
Here you can think, yeah.
Here is what my issue is.
Uh-huh.
If we talk about individuals, this conversation will go on and on and on. If we talk about the issue at hand, which is prosecutable, then we'll get somewhere. Because we can talk about Mwamba. Mwamba says, I didn't post it. Somebody else posted. We go to that one. Somebody posted it. So what is constant here is the issue, not the people. I don't care who it is. It could have come from State House that the president had a stroke. It could as well come from there. That's not the issue. We look at the issue first and then follow where that information is coming from. And if it's a law enforcement issue, we take it to the law. If it's a public discussion issue, it's a discussion.
They are still posting the same thing. I've just sent to Kalinda there, the new thing. They are still posting. It has just been posted right now. Another more, they're saying, oh, their vehicles.
Exactly. I just saw that.
But the issue is it a law enforcement issue? Then we need to push it to law enforcement. That's what I'm saying.
At this point, I would say it has to be a law enforcement issue.
I agree. I definitely agree. Go and let's go and investigate. Why is it that it's being reposted and this conversation is not going away? Why is it that it is recurrent? What is what? But the people post. And where you see, these are the things that now the president must come and address the media and stuff like that. Because they say, I am here. You can continue posting whatever you want to say.
But Zambians, Bakazia themselves, they're even saying, we just saw the president on TV today.
Wakalinda, this is more because people are manufacturing this thing. Press conference is what I think the president must deal with this, because this is going to be a public embarrassment. I want to get to the land of my president. You are president.
There's no need for a press conference.
Okay, I'm telling you, there's no need. But then if you think it will go away and disappear, you are mistaken. It will not disappear until the president says something.
But the president is traveling to Tanzania tomorrow.
You see?
Hey, that's a good point. Yes. The president is going to Tanzania.
He will be at the airport and people are going to interview him. So let's wait for tomorrow, maybe.
But it's going to. But this is the big thing that we need to understand. Interconnector between Zambia and Tanzania is one of the biggest projects that is going to alleviate the power problem. Okay? Because the connection between Zambia and Zimbabwe has been there for years, and we no longer rely on it because we're going through the same environmental and climate change issues. Certain years, or certain times in the year, Tanzania gets a lot of good rain. So that's why they have that capacity. When Zambia is down, we need countries like Tanzania. Okay? So that's the most important thing. I think that's where the president is thinking about, and that's where his mind is at right now. Okay? To make sure that abantu ba mu Zambia mwakwata alternative ya malaiti. Filianga fia shupa filia malaiti mwa yani. Kutinika vechi switch interconnect Zambia, Tanzania, and vice versa. So those are the issues I think that we should be talking about when it comes to developmental issues. And that's just one thing, just one tip of the iceberg. As we are speaking, we all know that Zambia predominantly we were importing fertilizer from all these other countries. There's one company, United Capital Fertilizer, which is purely owned by Zambia. Okay? Now they've been producing a D compound. And now they have started, okay, a plant for urea. So now D compound urea all be done in Zambia. And on top of that, there's another company that has come on board. Because to produce fertilizer, you need raw materials. You need phosphate. So a phosphate manufacturing plant has just been commissioned the other day. So meaning raw materials ya kupanga fertilizer will no longer be imported. They'll be made locally here. In the very few years, ubunga bukafika na 100 kwacha, people that will number figures people were thinking about, because everything will be produced here. Pata fertilizer, that's water, the local, and all these things. Ubunga bukafika pa 100 kwacha, believe it or not. So we want to acquire, follow all these developments. No, we didn't.
All right, let's wrap this up, gentlemen. Let's wrap it this time. Just to answer Bakazia, there's now been a statement from State House on the president's health. We are being told just to ignore on the rumors. It's not true. So let's move on. At this point, I think let's just get to the rant. It's been over almost 3 hours. So I guess we should start with who wants to go first?
I can.
Is that the deep thinker?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So deep thinker will lead the charge today. What's your rant for today, deep thinker?
My rant for today is support the president. I think the policies he's putting in place are really, really productive. And in the near future, I don't know when, but the Zambia is going to be a prosperous country. We're already from the talk back home. We're already one of the shining stars in Central Africa. I don't know about the other parts. Central and Southern Africa, we're shining stars. So uh, the people really appreciate what HH is doing. Now, the pace might be slow, and the president has asked for thank to the people for the patience as he's working through some things. I'm just encouraging everybody to be a little bit patient, but don't relax. The government needs to be pushed at all times. Otherwise, if we relax, corruption is going to take over. Now, corruption is real, and I think at the lower echelon of government structures is where most of the corruption is visible. So we need to be very aggressive on that. I know it's very difficult to wipe out corruption completely, but at least making progress in that direction is what Zambia needs, and we have the right person in the right seat driving the country in the right direction. I yield.
Mr. Maja?
My rant is very simple. May we respect people's privacy. By this I mean somebody's health should be private. The president being unwell, you go ahead and broadcast something that is not there. The law should just visit this person. I yield.
Bakazia.
My rant is simple. I think the government needs to deal with the political violence in a very impartial way. What I've seen has a capacity to downplay everything that is being done in the positive. The positives that government might be scoring will be washed down the path when violence takes root. And more importantly, government needs to display its own cadres, stop attacking people by leading by a very good example. And anyone else will stop. Government needs to stop this political violence in where the by-elections happen. We cannot be having the same people show up, beat up people, they go away scot-free because they're supporting the government of the day. That should not be the case. All these things, the peace is what can make us develop. Without peace, everything that the deep thinker was talking about will be down the drain. Everything that Wamasha is talking about is going down the drain. We need peace, and we cannot allow violent cadres to take root. Government needs to administer justice in an impartial way. I submit.
Doc, what's your rant for the week?
Okay. First, can you mute Chanda? He doesn't know how to mute himself. There's too much echo. So for me, I love what is going on in the Copper Belt. In terms of mining, the country's economic hub is back, plus an additional northwestern province, which is very good. I'm so happy that my country is back to life. But having said that, I want us to be more organized in the exploitation of these minerals. We've been exploited for far too long. I want the government this time around, I know we have very smart leadership right now, to really make sure that Zambia benefits out of these minerals. We cannot have a situation again where we've been exploited and over again, we restart again and again, we continue being exploited. I want the country to benefit out of our minerals. And I think the course that our government is taking right now is a positive one. And as we've discussed already, we are seeing already some increase in the production of copper last year alone, so which is very, very good. And we've seen all these big equipment flocking to the copper belt, which is also another good sign. My final plea to the government is also for us to make sure that we utilize a small mining should be organized, more organized, such that Zambians should also benefit. Because what I know is that our gold, our these diamonds and all these these minerals that are very valuable, sugilite, all this type of thing, we are not benefiting as Zambians. Just I was reading a report that there were some trucks that were confiscated, something like that. And the minister promised that he would tell us they will get it and sell it, and Zambia will benefit out of those confiscated sugilite trucks, whatever. But nobody has ever told us that. I think we need to know, as Zambians, we need to utilize all the minerals we have. We are so gifted with all these minerals, and Zambians should see the benefits. That's all. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Right. BantuTV.
Yeah, I think I would compliment just what Doc is saying. When it comes to minerals, we all know that Zambia has one of the largest deposits of emeralds, and we've got the best emeralds in the world. And that avenue has been not discussed, or it hasn't been tapped on, or it's been on oblivion, and really all the past governments have never ever tapped on emeralds. And we all know that Kajam is the biggest mining operation there and we've heard reports, like where cities have been built just for the sweats of the Zambian people. on that mineral only. Cities have been built around the world, because of the conglomerates that own Kagem right now. Now, do we have any control in Kagem? We don't, because it's owned by private investors. But Vakabuswa, I wish he could talk about this one and enlighten us and see the way forward. But another good news is that the map study, like I've always been talking about, the map study of knowing where our minerals are and knowing what minerals do we have in the country. I think that's vital. I think from now going forward, once we have that information in our database, Zambia will be able to package all these deals when the investor comes in. Actually, we can even direct an investor to tell him that, look, if you want to come and invest in this country, and if you're interested in mining gold, whatever mineral it is, we can tell you where to go. Okay? As long as we have a shared profit, and we come up with all these partnerships, all that stuff. So from now going forward, I think it looks good. But at the moment, for the last years, as Zambia has been mining, they're saying for over 100 years, Zambia has been mining for over 100 years. We've never had any significant touch or a significant, ownership in the mining sector, despite owning all these minerals ourselves. So everything is going into the foreign hands. And if you look at all these foreign, investors just getting the money, and if the mine, if it's copper, it just goes out. Nobody knows how much copper goes out of the country. Really, statistically, we don't know. And even if it's going out, we don't know it's just copper, because it's copper ore. So the ore contains a lot of other minerals. So just selling it like that and taking out of the country just like that in trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks and loads of year in, year out for the last, 100 years. And we're seeing all these people becoming billionaires. Well, our people are not billionaires. Why? Zambia should be the richest. In fact, if you look at the continent, we're blessed. Like, I think about, is it, I didn't think I was saying that the Zimbabweans are wishing that they were Zambian, because of what we have. We're blessed, but let's not take this blessing for granted. Let's take advantage of each and every opportunity.
In conclusion,
Ladies and gentlemen, in an island I compare.
This cadreism, I call it cadreism, where it is the cadres that must be given position. That is not our password. No. We want to appoint Zambians who are capable. Look, Zambia has gone down so badly that we will need every capable Zambian we can lay our hands on to deliver. We have to select people who can make a difference. Cadreism is not necessarily the best thing for national development. It's good for the party support, but there's another way you can look after those who have managed your party. You should not injure or undermine the national development under the principle of cadreism.
Akainde boy wabepafie. Not in this generation. Not in this generation. Umulina bena bulldozer. Ubepelefie. Not in this generation.
all right, and that was my rant.
Not in this
The last speaker
generation.
as we speak
That
is
is,
in Wembeshi prison.
he was in court on Friday.
Yeah, but they took him back. He's back to Wembeshi, new home base.
But finally, just 1 minute, one second. the information for survey of our minerals, is that going to be public or it's going to be kept by special people? Because
So
I foresee
what they said is this. In fact, there was one that just recently was done by I think SPM. They did their own survey, right? That one is going to be public, and you can find it. In the Ministry of Statistics, the information will be there. But this one that's been done by a company called Excalibur. This one will actually be specifically, top rate. So it will be top rate. So it just won't be divulged or given to the public. This is information that the government will have on its fingertips so that they can control. Okay, when investors come in and they know, okay, if an investor is serious, this is what it is.
Don't you think there is a chance of abuse of such information by a few chosen people? If they discover that I've got in my Shikatende village, don't you think someone will come and entice me without me, poor Danny, knowing that, oh, I'll give you 10 million for this land. Me, I'll get it. And then him will get that 10 million in 1 week.
Yeah, but the government will have that information, so it'll be easy for people to track down illegal mining activities and stuff like that, because they'll have that information on their fingertips. Now you can imagine, because the way it's been, people will just be mining accidentally and they find something and illegal mine starts.
No,
Because the government doesn't have data.
All right, people, let me end the live broadcast so we can continue the discussion in the background. It's
sure
gonna be hard for me to edit this one. It's over 3 hours. Oh my goodness. All right. Until next week, viewers, keep the faith.
Keep the faith.